This Sports Blitz podcast is brought to you by LMG. Grow your business through logo design, paper products, and video production. Visit leemarketing.net to learn more.
Our Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire. It's time for the Bama Blitz segment of the show, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center. And we welcome in Luke Robinson on the Dane Sharp Attorney at Law Hotline. Luke, thanks for joining us.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going great, Luke. And again, we'll cut right to the chase. Of course, Alabama had an off week last week, so nothing to talk about there. They've had to sit on that win against Virginia Tech for a week now. Now it's the Armageddon of football that we've talked about since the game last year, the rematch between Alabama and Texas A&M. Johnny Manziel, all the off-season stuff that's going on with him, all eyes on Texas, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, they certainly are. I mean, it's the biggest game since the last biggest game. I mean, it seems like there's always a game of the century every week, but this one has that feel to it. I mean, it's the game that everybody's been pointing to since last season ended. I mean, this game. Alabama's return to Texas A&M. Of course, everybody remembers the performance Texas A&M and Manziel put on in Bryant-Denny Stadium last year, and really that won him the Heisman Trophy. What's so funny, I'm going back and researching this game for the Coach's Cabana show this Saturday, and I go back, and I was at that A&M game. And for whatever reason, people tend to forget that Texas A&M scored the first 20 points. There's no doubt. But after that, Alabama shut them down pretty good. I mean, Texas A&M ended up with one more touchdown and a failed two-point conversion and a field goal. But Alabama shut them down pretty good after that. And also, I think people forget that Alabama's coming off an incredibly emotional, gut-wrenching LSU game, and they came in pretty flat. And Todd Blackledge made a comment to some folks the other day that it looked like Alabama was very frantic at the very beginning of the game. But once they settled down, Alabama handled Texas A&M pretty well as you could handle that particular Texas A&M team, which was a very hot team. Obviously, they went on a good run there towards the end of the year, and they ended up 11-2, I believe, and set several records. But again, this was not some dominating performance by A&M, despite the fact that they started out 20-0. So I guess my point is that people tend to remember this game as, Texas A&M just wiped the field of Alabama. No, really, they did it for a quarter. And then when Alabama got their feet back under them, Alabama pretty much controlled that game. It just so happened that A.J. McCarron, who only threw 3 picks all year, threw 2 in that game.
Yeah, I mean, it was riddled for Alabama. And I know when a team gets bombarded at the front of the game like that, they can kind of go into shock mode. I also say this, and I'm not doing this because I'm trying to play devil's advocate, but also a team that jumps out to a big lead on the road, Luke, sometimes tends to dial it back a little bit and maybe tries to play a little bit more conservative. I'm not saying that's what Texas A&M did, and I'm not taking anything away from Alabama coming back and having the ball inside the 5 with a chance to win. I just know that I've seen, and I know you have over the last several years, teams jump out to big leads and go, look, if we can just play it close to the vest on this, then we can get out of here with a win. And I think that happened. Texas A&M had to score a touchdown late in the game to solidify that game, and they did. So, I think you can wipe a lot of that out. This is a new slate. I think Alabama's had a year to prepare. Nick Saban's had a year to prepare. I think Johnny Manziel's been talking a lot of junk. So I think when the ball's kicked off Saturday afternoon, we'll find out a lot about both these teams.
You certainly will, and I understand your point, but I don't necessarily agree with you, especially with a team like Texas A&M, whose mindset is to keep their foot on the gas. Or they're kind of like Oregon. Oregon got out to a big lead against Virginia, and guess what? They made it bigger. So, I mean, it's not always true that just because you get out to a big lead, you take your foot off the gas. And I think that really it was more adjustments by Alabama. And again, Texas A&M is a good team. I struggle with this game. I think Texas A&M could win. I'm not saying Alabama's going to go in there and just roll them. I think at one point this summer I thought that. Maybe it's just the doubts creeping in from the offensive line play against Virginia Tech. But I could probably rationalize that play as well in terms of there was very little chance unless everything in the world went wrong, that Virginia Tech was going to be within a touchdown of Alabama. And, Virginia Tech played a whale of a game and still lost by 25 points. They just aren't a good football team. So I think that I'm going to give Alabama a bit of a pass and then say that, I've always gone by the mantra that teams, even great teams, only give their best efforts 2 to 3 times in a season. And definitely that first game was not one of Alabama's best efforts. And I think that you will see one of Alabama's best efforts this Saturday. But, Brett, I'm going through, and again, like I said, I'm doing a lot of research for this game, and, man, there's so many weird statistics. Alabama is 8-0 prior to a bye week, but 4-3 after a bye week. But the catch in that particular statistic is all 3 losses after the bye week are to LSU. So nobody else has beaten Alabama after a bye week besides LSU. Under Saban, they've played Cam Newton and Tim Tebow and Matthew Stafford and just a litany of fantastic quarterbacks. But no starting quarterback has ever beaten Alabama twice in their career. I don't care if it's Tebow or Stafford or whomever. So if Johnny Manziel were to do it, that'd be another notch in his belt, obviously. Alabama's won 15 straight away from Bryant-Denny. I mean, you've got to remember the last 2 losses for Alabama have both been at home. And that's odd to me considering they've won the last 2 national championships.
It is a lot of weird statistics there, Luke, and I'm looking forward to it. And, hey, by the way, I didn't expect you to agree with me, and I don't think you were expecting me to agree with what you said either. And I think everybody out there watching would have been disappointed if we actually did agree.
Yeah, and I'm watching the TV screen. I love that portrait that Justin has up. I think I'll put that over my bed tonight.
That, along with the David and God picture of Bear Bryant and Nick Saban touching the crystal football. Luke, Coach's Cabana this weekend. I know you guys are excited, you and Coach Oliver.
Yeah, really excited about it. Please do tune in, www.coachescabana.com. And it's a lot of fun. And for those who don't know about it, and certainly many people do know about it by now, it's basically going to be Coach Bill Oliver and I watching the game the same time you are. And you can tune into the webcast, and Coach Oliver will offer his opinions, and I will too. I'm basically there to just bounce questions off of him that you can send to us. You can send us questions via Twitter at LSRobinson21 or at Coach Oliver1. Either one of those, and we will get your questions, and we look forward to hearing from you. It won't be at Willow Point this time. We are planning on being at Kalijah most of the year for every broadcast. But this particular time, there is a tailgate party at Willow Point, and you can get in touch with Buddy King. I'll give Justin the information so that you can get in touch with him if you were interested in that. But anyway, we're going to do it at Willow Point. There's going to be a big crowd. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is something that is done with 14 different teams all across the country. Coach Barry Switzer is the one that started this at Oklahoma, and it's just a lot of fun. And I'll tell you what's funny is, Texas has one of these. Texas has a Coach's Cabana with Fred Akers, who was their former coach. And, man, if I were smart, I would have listened to Coach's Cabana Texas last week, because I'm sure he was pretty colorful during that BYU game.
They may be asking Fred to come back and coach the rest of the season. Hey, Luke, look forward to it Saturday. I'll see you there. Me and you can disagree on more things.
You, Brett.
Thanks, man.